Welcome into episode number 181 of The Voice Behind the Voice. I'm Sean Aronson, the TV and radio broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, an independent minor league baseball team in the Twin Cities. Final week at work before we depart for a couple of weeks, the Christmas and New Year's break that is ever so popular in the world of minor league baseball. I can't speak for the major leagues. I don't know what they do. I assume they do the same thing, but everywhere I've been in minor league baseball, you shut the offices down from Christmas to New Year's, kind of a little pat on the back for all the hard work that you do during the summer. And everywhere I've been, they pay you for that. You don't use vacation time or anything. So I think everybody getting everything they need to do this week, get it done. And then I will be off to California on Saturday for about 9 days. But I'll talk about that next week. Last week, though, I did tell you that I was traveling to Charleston, South Carolina. I told you that I would tell you this week what that was all about. It's a little bit personal, and again, not necessarily for me specifically, but a number of us in the front office traveled to Charleston, South Carolina. Our owner, Mike Veck, his daughter battled a disease called Batten disease, Batten. It is a disease that not only affects your eyesight, but at some point is fatal. She had been misdiagnosed for many, many, many years, and it wasn't until, I think, 2 or 3 years ago that they had found exactly what had been going on with her. For the longest time, they thought she had retinitis pigmentosa, which is a degenerative eye disease. They discovered, though, within the last couple of years that it was Batten disease, which, to be honest, a fatal disease that makes you lose your life, that unfortunately kills you a lot earlier than she passed away. She passed away a couple of months ago at the age of 27 years, and I believe was the oldest person that ever had this disease. She lived longer than anybody else. And we went to Charleston as a celebration of her life on what would have been her birthday. Her mom and dad wanted to do this. They held this at the ballpark in Charleston, the River Dogs, another team that we own. And we did. We had a celebration of her life, and all the things that she enjoyed was at the ballpark that day. Face painters and bounce castles and music, her favorite types of food. And it really was. It was difficult to be there, but at the same time, very therapeutic, I guess, to be around so many people. There were about 500 or 600 people that showed up to this. And the hardest part was to see Mike Veck and his wife, Libby, and being around them because, man, I mean, they made you feel like everything was okay. And that was the hardest thing, because all you wanted to do was wrap your arms around both these people. Mike, who has been so instrumental in my career, Libby, who I've seen many, many times in the 17 years that I've worked for this ownership group. The personal part in this, though, comes this past summer. Mike came to me, I don't remember when it was now, March, April, maybe May, and he told me that his daughter was nearing the end, and that he wanted me to write the obituary for her, the one that would appear in the funeral home's website and in the newspaper. And I told him, yes, that I would do it. I mean, you don't say no when someone says something and asks you something like that. But I'd never done this before. Right? I had never done anything like this before. And it was the hardest thing that I ever had to write, ever. And I've written thousands of press releases and game stories and what have you. And I've been a part of a team where a player passed away and I had to write that press release. But nothing was ever as hard as this. And he was very thankful. And I talked to him on the day that she passed away, and that was the day that I wrote it. And I had not seen his wife since then. and nor had I talked to her. And I saw her at this celebration, and she came right up to me and gave me the biggest hug and thanked me for writing this. And I didn't know what to say, because it's not something that you want to say thank you for, right? It's not something you ever want to write. You don't ever want to do something like this. And I just told her, and I told Mike, look, no thanks necessary. I'm humbled and flattered that you asked me to write this. And I'm sorry that I had to write this. So, again, personal on that level. To the Vec family, my heart goes out to them. I cannot even come close to imagining how they feel. But it was good for everybody to be together last week in Charleston to celebrate Rebecca Vec's life, gone way too soon. So there is no easy transition from that. I just wanted to let everybody know. But let us get to this week's episode number 181, with Don Munson, who is the voice of the Clemson Tigers. The next 2 weeks, ironically, are going to be two broadcasters that will be up against each other in the college football national semifinals. We're doing Don Munson this week, and next week we'll have Ohio State's broadcaster. And it just so happens both were in town for basketball games. I didn't see Don when I was in Charleston. We had done this before when Clemson came to play the University of Minnesota, and Ohio State was just in town to play the Gophers as well in basketball. And I just happened to get both of them, and they both happened to be guys doing the national semifinal games. Don and I sat down prior to the conference championship, the ACC conference championship. So at this point, you didn't know for sure whether they were going to be in the Final Four or not. Obviously, it was a pretty good bet that they were going to clobber Virginia, which they did. So we touch a little bit on the football stuff, not a whole lot, but we talk about a number of different things, including him being this guy at Clemson for a long time, and how Dabo Swinney was the guy that brought him aboard in a social media role, and then was basically the guy that pushed for him to become the broadcaster on the football side of things, which is pretty incredible and shows you how much clout a major college football coach has across the program. It really is incredible. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, you can do so wherever you get your podcasts, or follow us on social media, Twitter at The Voice BTV, Facebook, facebook.com/The Voice BTV, and you can always email me, thevoicebtv@gmail.com. All right, let's get to it. Episode number 181 with Don Munson of the Clemson Tigers. JW, guy's going to be doing a University of Minnesota men's basketball game. Good for you, my friend. Roll the open.
The scariest moment of my lottery career, unfortunately, we had one of our friends pass away there at the production company. And so they were asking me, and at that time we were doing a pick 3 and a pick 4. And so they were like, okay, so what are the pick 4 numbers? I said, well, tell you what, it's going to be Craig's birthday. And I explained, it was like 4/12, I can't remember what it was, but it was something, it may have been the pick 3. Well, the first 2 numbers came up, and I'm like, no, please, no, don't. And so but they said you should have seen the look on my face on television, because they back there knew, and thank goodness it didn't come up.